We're going in 3, 2, 1.
Whatever it takes. Look at the world around you. Is it not more peaceful? Let's finish this.
Avengers Endgame. Rated PG-13. Tickets on sale now.
What is up, YouTube? Warstu here with a review on Avengers Endgame, aka Avengers 4. So I've watched Avengers Endgame now, which I paid for myself, and it wasn't a press screening, it was a normal standard screening, which we watched this morning. So this will be a non-spoiler review. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the content. So first thing you have to understand is it's really hard to review this movie specifically without talking any spoilers, because there is quite a lot of context what you need to understand. But overall, I think the screenwriters did the best job they could do with the script. The script was decent. I'm not going to say it's not a groundbreaking movie. It's not the best movie you're ever going to watch from a storytelling point of view. But when you factor in all the Avengers, all their independent movies, and put them all together, it is the best Avengers movie there has been, so to speak. So I think they did a good job. Obviously, Steven and Christopher, the screenwriters, the main screenwriters, and obviously the Russo bros are the people that get all the credit, but realistically, they are just a director. Now, I think the shooting and cinematography and all that kind of stuff was fine. It was good. It's not a masterpiece. I really like the VFX, although there wasn't really that much VFX realistically. There was a good amount, but I think it's a massive improvement upon Infinity War, so to speak. So if you are an Avengers fan, you will love this movie. Why? Because Avengers Infinity War felt more like a Thanos movie, whereas this movie felt like a movie about the Avengers. It was 3 hours long, but realistically, it didn't feel like any time had passed at all. Just like Infinity War, even though it was a little bit longer, it didn't really feel like any time had passed. So this movie is interesting because the Russo bros said they haven't given much away in the trailers. And to be fair to them, they haven't actually given anything away in the trailers. And there isn't really any misleading trailer. Maybe 1 or 2 scenes from the trailers. But literally all the footage from the TV spots and trailers were in the movie within the first 15 minutes of the movie. And that's not realistically giving anything away. They've said that before. So it's not really ruining anything. And from a spoiler point of view, the Russo bros, Kevin Feige, no one realistically spoiled the movie at all. Pretty interesting. So the movie is good because it focuses on the 6 original Avengers, whereas in Infinity War, Hawkeye wasn't in it, and no one apart from Thanos and Iron Man and maybe Thor realistically got any decent screen time. So it was good in the fact that the movie wasn't just about Iron Man itself, because obviously Infinity War, Iron Man, along with Thanos, was essentially the main star. But in this movie, I mean, I really hope you don't take this as a spoiler, because I don't think it is. Captain America is the captain of the Avengers, and he realistically gets to finish his arc in this movie, essentially. So it is pretty good. They all get enough time that you can follow them through their characters. There's lots of Easter eggs. I really don't like that word. There's lots of callbacks to like Iron Man 1, to Civil War. There's lots of callbacks to every single MCU movie in existence ever, which is pretty good. It's really good that there's lots of callbacks, lots of Easter eggs, and I think it was a grounding movie. Like, if you watch this and you're not a massive Marvel fan, you would probably still appreciate the work that's gone into this, the work that's gone into not spoiling anything. Is really fascinating how strict Disney has been about people watching it early and things like that, because realistically, guys, there is only realistically 3 spoilers that would ruin the movie for you. We're not going to go into them. So I think everyone will be surprised at some point of the movie. There are a few twists and turns throughout the movie, but if you are quite self-aware, you would see them coming. But the epic scale, it's the scale of the movie. We're not going to be getting anything like this from Marvel for the next 4 to 5 years. As we know, most of the Avengers are out of contract now, or their story arc has ended. But that's not a spoiler, because I've not said what is going on. So it is fascinating to see what is going to be next going forward. So if you are a Bruce Banner fan and a Hulk fan, you will be very happy with the turns of events in this movie. And there's a few things that you might not see coming, but if you do follow all the news, watch a bunch of YouTubers, watch the trailers, you would actually guess some of the stuff that's coming. It takes you from a different angle, kind of, because Infinity War was all about seeing it from Thanos' point of view. This movie's more about seeing what's actually happened, how it's affected the world, how it's affected the Avengers members, how it's affected the public, how it's affected everyone. So it is interesting, the diversity between Thanos wanting to balance the universe, then you seeing his version of the universe being balanced. And that's a pretty strong thing to do, because I was not expecting some events that happened quite early in this movie to happen. I was expecting them to happen later on in the movie, but it is overall a pretty decent movie. I will go into a lot more depth in a spoiler review than a full spoiler review, but as the movie's only technically just come out in the UK today, and I think it comes out in America tomorrow, we're gonna do a full spoiler review tomorrow. So if you have already watched the movie, let me know down below without giving anything away. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you think there was any annoying parts? There's a few parts of this movie that are frustrating, but the pace in this movie, it flows really nicely. It really does flow really nicely. And Marvel did something very different with this movie that they've never done with any other movie. But at the same time, they've not really explained where they're going with it, the rules, how they plan to reach out. But I guess Mr. Kevin Feige will be talking about the future of the MCU at San Diego Comic-Con in July. So it is interesting. This movie is very, very different to anything else, and I can fully understand why the screenwriters kept saying it isn't Infinity War 1 and Infinity War Part 2, even though it's part of a concurrent story and the main narrative is built around stopping Thanos, trying to reverse whatever Thanos has just done. It is kind of Part 1 and Part 2, but they are independent stories, and I feel like they did it really well. But I think if you are someone like me who tries to overanalyze things, because obviously when I review movies, I've got a critic review and I've got a fan review. So it's hard to kind of split the two, because if you review as a critic, I'm a lot harsher. But if I review as a fan, the movie is much more enjoyable. And as for the new girl, Captain Marvel, without giving too much away, Captain Marvel really does play a perfect part of this movie. She really does play it perfectly. When you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. Like, they do misinterpret her, I believe, in the trailer. She's not coming off the way that it's represented in the trailers, so to speak, which is fascinating because, as you know, Captain Marvel is one of the future franchises of this franchise going forward. I think it's essentially going to reboot the Marvel universe, so to speak, in a way, because as we know, this is the end of the Infinity Saga. There's a bit of confusion online. This is not the end of Phase 3. Originally, Kevin Feige said that the end of Phase 3 was this movie, then Phase 4 would be starting with Spider-Man Far From Home. But 1 week before the movie came out, he retracted what he meant, and I can't wait till he actually explains it properly. So essentially, the Infinity Saga is drawn to an end after this movie, but it's not, because the Infinity Saga is part of Phase 3. So Phase 3 ends after Spider-Man Far From Home. So I am really interested to see how Marvel fans are going to react to the future of Marvel movies, because if Marvel movies are going to be like this going forward, I think a good core of the Marvel fans currently might not be happy with the direction they're going in. Now, that's not to give anything away. Just like I said, this movie is very different to any other movie. It almost, in parts, didn't feel like a superhero movie in a way, because it was driven around the character development of the characters, learning more about the characters, specifically the main 6 characters, the main Avengers. You do learn a lot about them. Now, as for the surprise cameos and all them kind of stuff, there are some surprise cameos, but they're that much of a surprise that a lot of people didn't even see them. So if you did see them, let me know in the comment section down below, and obviously put the spoiler tag and then space it down so no one can actually see it. It is interesting. Obviously, Kathleen Langford was in the movie, or was she? Did you notice her? There's a bunch of cameo roles that maybe you didn't know, but this movie does explore the whole MUC history without giving away a lot. Like I said, it's very hard to review a movie without realistically going into the plot, because it's plot driven. So when we do the spoiler review tomorrow, I can really go into depth with exactly what I mean about the issues that I had with some of the narrative. Overall, the narrative was pretty good. It is one of the better Marvel movies. I'm gonna have to watch it another time. I can't make my mind up if it's the best Marvel movie, because I don't know, it's really hard to work it out after one take. But it is a decent movie. If I was to give it a score, it would be somewhere between 7 and 8. So if you have already seen the movie, let me know down below, where would you rank this movie? Is it better than Infinity War? Were you happy with it? Now, you can talk about it in the comment section down below, guys, because it is officially out in Australia, Sweden, UK, most of Europe. I believe it officially comes out in America tomorrow. Just be careful down below, guys. Don't ruin anyone's experience of the movie, as this is a Marvel-based channel. So let's all have a massive, epic conversation down below, guys. And I'll try and come back to everyone in the comment section down below. And I will catch you in that next video very soon. Catch ya later.